Welcome to 5 Minutes Learning. Today, we're diving into one of the most remarkable case studies in marketing history, Marlboro Friday. Ever heard of how one Friday shook the marketing world and changed advertising forever? This case study not only transformed Philip Morris's Marlboro brand but set new rules for building brand identity. If you're an MBA student or someone intrigued by powerful marketing strategies, this is a must-watch. Why this case study is relevant today. Why does Marlboro Friday matter in today's market? Companies across industries are constantly adapting to consumer preferences and competition. But Marlboro Friday was more than just a response to change, it was a blueprint for turning challenges into marketing strengths. From tech giants to lifestyle brands, the lessons from Marlboro's strategy are just as powerful and relevant today. And it all began with a decision that transformed Marlboro from a minor player into an industry giant. Brief overview of the company and situation. Philip Morris USA, a leader in the tobacco industry, launched Marlboro in 1924 as a mild, feminine brand. Back then, the cigarette industry was dominated by non-filter brands like Camel and Lucky Strike. Marlboro, a mild non-filtered cigarette, held less than 1% of the market. But by 1954, Philip Morris reimagined Marlboro with a bold new identity, introducing the rugged Marlboro Man and the now iconic flip-top box. This rebranding didn't just shift Marlboro's market position, it redefined how brands appeal to consumer emotions and identity. Quote, Marlboro's initial brand image wasn't connecting with a broad audience. The brand had limited reach, while competitors like Camel dominated the market. Philip Morris needed a strategy that could turn Marlboro into a leading brand, one that resonated with male consumers in particular. The challenge was clear: attract new customers, differentiate the product, and build a lasting brand identity. To tackle this challenge, Philip Morris turned to Leo Burnett, an advertising agency known for innovative ideas. Burnett's team saw a gap in the market. They transformed Marlboro into a masculine brand, one that embodied strength, freedom, and independence. The bold red and white flip-top box became an instant symbol. By introducing the Marlboro Man, an iconic cowboy figure, the brand successfully captured the rugged, independent spirit that appealed to American men. This transformation saw Marlboro's sales skyrocket from 18 million to over 20 billion cigarettes in just 3 years. Quote, a modern parallel to Marlboro's story is Apple's 1984 ad campaign. Much like Marlboro, Apple found a unique way to define its brand identity against competitors. By portraying itself as a revolutionary brand in a market of conformity, Apple inspired customer loyalty and created a lasting emotional impact. This strategy mirrors Marlboro's shift, teaching MBA students the power of brand identity and storytelling in influencing consumer perception. The Marlboro Man finds an identity and a home. By 1962, Marlboro's advertising agency was facing a dilemma. They had created a powerful concept, the Marlboro Man, yet hadn't given him a unique identity. They experimented with different types of men, but nothing had quite clicked. What Marlboro needed was one simple expression of masculinity that could resonate across the country. After much brainstorming, the agency decided on a character who symbolized strength, freedom, and resilience: the American cowboy. This cowboy wasn't just a man in an ad, he represented a unique lifestyle, one that was rugged, independent, and authentic. In an increasingly complex world, people were drawn to simplicity and strength. The cowboy symbolized exactly that: a man who thrived in open spaces, unburdened by the pressures of modern life. His environment was natural and free, contrasting with the crowded, high-stress environments many people faced daily. To make this image memorable, the Marlboro Man wasn't just placed anywhere. He was positioned in iconic American landmarks like Yankee Stadium, and later, in the wide-open expanses of the American West. This setting, called Marlboro Country, would soon become synonymous with the brand. Wherever men smoked for flavor, that was Marlboro Country. In 1963, the creative minds behind the campaign felt that the Marlboro Man needed a permanent home, a place that would embody his spirit. They introduced Marlboro Country not as a physical location, but as an idea. This was the land of wide open spaces, untamed nature, and timeless freedom. The Marlboro Man was now larger than life, and Marlboro Country became the ultimate destination. This brilliant move grounded the Marlboro brand in an imagery that felt tangible and real. It invited consumers to experience a slice of freedom, even if just through a cigarette. The 1960s was a time of rapid growth for Marlboro, but a major challenge hit in 1971 when cigarette ads were banned from television. Many cigarette brands struggled without TV advertising, which had been their primary channel for reaching consumers, but for Marlboro, the story was different. The brand's identity was so strong, with the Marlboro Man and Marlboro Country firmly etched in the minds of consumers, that it adapted seamlessly to print and outdoor advertising. Instead of TV commercials, Marlboro used powerful print ads, larger-than-life posters, and billboard images of the Marlboro Man in breathtaking landscapes. This case study shows the power of creating a brand identity that goes beyond just a product. Marlboro didn't sell just a cigarette, it sold a lifestyle, a feeling, an escape. The cowboy didn't need to say a word, his image alone told consumers what they wanted to believe, and for today's MBA students, this is a critical takeaway. When building a brand, think of it as a character in a story. Make it something people can believe in and identify with, because, like the Marlboro Man, a strong brand can not only survive challenges but become legendary. So, what made the Marlboro strategy revolutionary? By creating an icon that represented values people admired, and situating him in a world of his own, Marlboro created more than a campaign. They created a lasting legacy in marketing. What is Marlboro Friday? Let's set the stage. By January 1993, Marlboro was in trouble. They had lost a significant share of the market, down to about 22%, a drop of 4 points. The issue? Their premium-priced cigarettes just couldn't compete with discount brands, which were nearly half the price. This price gap of around 93% was too steep for most consumers. Smokers were trading down, or switching from Marlboro to cheaper brands. Here's where we bring in an MBA perspective. Think about consumer behavior when prices rise significantly on essential items. It's common to switch to cheaper alternatives. Marlboro's competitors knew this and gained ground by selling less expensive, no-frills products. Marlboro needed to act fast if they wanted to retain their customers. This brings us to April 2, 1993, known today as Marlboro Friday. In a bold and unexpected move, Philip Morris announced a nearly 20% price cut on all Marlboro cigarettes, reducing prices by about 40 cents per pack. To put that in perspective for students, imagine a premium brand like Apple suddenly slashing iPhone prices by 20%. It would send shockwaves across the tech industry, just as Marlboro Friday did in the tobacco world. Philip Morris aimed to close the gap between premium and discount brands from 93% down to a more manageable 40–45%. By doing this, they hoped to make Marlboro's pricing attractive enough to stop consumers from switching to discount brands. The announcement had a major impact on Wall Street. Philip Morris stock dropped, and it wasn't alone. Other tobacco stocks fell too, and even stocks in unrelated consumer packaged goods took a hit. Why? Because investors saw this as a potential signal that the premium brand era might be over. For MBA students, this is an important lesson in how market perceptions shape stock prices. When a leading brand like Marlboro cuts prices so drastically, investors fear other premium brands will follow suit, hurting overall industry profit margins. And so, what happened on Marlboro Friday wasn't just a shift in pricing, it was a major disruptor of Wall Street's faith in premium brands. Marlboro's decision had far-reaching effects. Other tobacco companies followed, either by reducing their own prices or rethinking their strategies. This sparked a fierce price war in the tobacco industry, with companies trying to balance competitiveness and profitability. And here's an important takeaway for students. Marlboro's decision demonstrated that when one major player disrupts an industry, others are often forced to adapt. Imagine if Starbucks, for instance, were to reduce its prices by 20%. Other coffee chains would feel pressured to match that price drop or risk losing market share. For tobacco companies in 1993, it was either adapt or risk falling behind in a rapidly changing marketplace. The price cut had some unintended consequences. Initially, Philip Morris hoped this move would bring in sales and reaffirm Marlboro's dominance. However, lowering the price affected the brand image, as customers started to wonder if Marlboro was truly a premium product. This shift in perception can be powerful. When a brand that's known for quality and exclusivity suddenly becomes affordable, customers may question its original value. This was a major risk for Marlboro, as the brand faced devaluation. Consumers now saw it as a discount option rather than a premium one. Marlboro's price reduction also paved the way for private label brands to gain a stronger foothold in the market. With Marlboro's perceived value going down, cost-conscious consumers were more inclined to try even cheaper, lesser-known brands. As a result, sales of private label cigarettes surged, intensifying competition in the market. This shift highlighted a broader trend. When established brands discount their products, it creates space for new, budget-friendly competitors to grow. Many consumers, especially those highly focused on cost savings, gravitate toward these alternatives. Ultimately, Marlboro Friday became a case study in how premium brands could stay relevant in the face of low-cost competition. The price cuts didn't mean Marlboro wanted to become a discount brand. Instead, they aimed to redefine what premium meant in a way that kept prices competitive but still allowed them to stand out. This shift paved the way for other companies in various industries to reconsider their pricing strategies. In fact, companies like Procter & Gamble and Coca-Cola also faced pressures to rethink premium pricing in the years that followed. How Marlboro Friday led to marketing innovation. The challenges of Marlboro Friday forced brands to rethink their strategies. Several new marketing innovations emerged in response. Brand reinvention. Philip Morris had to rebuild Marlboro's image to prevent further devaluation. They focused on branding Marlboro as more than just a cigarette. It became about promoting Marlboro as a lifestyle brand associated with adventure, masculinity, and freedom. Product diversification. Companies like Philip Morris also diversified to mitigate the impact of declining cigarette sales. They expanded into smokeless tobacco products and even acquired food and beverage companies, creating new revenue streams to reduce dependence on cigarette sales. Pricing strategy adjustments. Finally, companies began experimenting with various pricing strategies. Some brands opted for value pricing to reach price-sensitive customers, while others maintained premium pricing, positioning themselves as luxury brands to attract niche audiences. Now, imagine this. It's the early 90s, and cigarette giant Philip Morris suddenly slashes the price of Marlboro cigarettes by 20%. This was a bold move to counter competition from low-cost cigarette brands. It became known as Marlboro Friday and marked a turning point, not only for the tobacco industry but for consumer behavior in general. Why? Because this wasn't just a price cut. It was a message, a powerful one that redefined how people viewed and valued brands. To really understand Marlboro Friday, we need to dig into the psychology behind consumer behavior and brand loyalty. First, let's look at one of the biggest lessons from Marlboro Friday: the power of perceived value. By dropping prices, Philip Morris wasn't just aiming to attract bargain hunters. They created the perception that Marlboro was giving a better deal without lowering its status as a premium brand. This idea of perceived value became a major driver for customers. For instance, think about Apple. They don't drop prices often, but when they do, it feels like a huge deal. Marlboro tapped into a similar strategy, one where people felt they were getting premium quality at a discount, boosting customer loyalty and giving existing Marlboro smokers another reason to stick with the brand. Here's something that marketers quickly learned after Marlboro Friday: price isn't everything. Prior to this, price was often the deciding factor for consumers, especially when they had cheaper options. But Marlboro Friday changed that narrative, showing that brand loyalty could surpass price in importance. Let's break this down with a practical example. Picture a loyal Starbucks customer. Even if a new coffee shop opens nearby with cheaper prices, they'll probably still go to Starbucks because of the experience, the familiarity, and, frankly, the brand loyalty. Marlboro Friday proved that if customers are emotionally connected to a brand, They're willing to pay a premium, or at least stay loyal, even if there are less costly alternatives. Now, why was Marlboro able to maintain its customer base even after a drastic price cut? The answer lies in emotional connection. Marlboro wasn't just selling cigarettes, they were selling an image of ruggedness, masculinity, and adventure. For many, Marlboro wasn't a product, it was a lifestyle. By reducing prices, they reinforced that connection rather than weakening it. To give a modern example, think of brands like Harley-Davidson. People don't just buy their motorcycles, they buy into a lifestyle, a culture of freedom and rebellion. Even if Harley-Davidson offered a discount, loyal customers would still see it as the same iconic brand because the emotional bond is so strong. Marlboro Friday wasn't just a reaction to competition, it was a revolutionary example of marketing innovation. The event challenged the idea that price alone drives consumer behavior and introduced the power of psychology and loyalty into the equation. As MBA students, imagine this from a marketer's perspective. You're tasked with keeping customers loyal while also competing on price. Marlboro showed that by understanding consumer psychology, companies can make bold moves that strengthen loyalty and set new trends in marketing. Marlboro's key marketing strategies. 1. Building a strong brand image. Philip Morris used the cowboy icon to build Marlboro's brand as tough, resilient, and masculine, an image that resonated strongly with consumers. The cowboy became a symbol of freedom, and Marlboro's image solidified as one for strong-willed individuals. 2. Bold packaging innovation. The flip-top box, introduced by Burnett, was a game-changer. It protected the cigarettes better, was easy to carry, and was distinct in design. This made Marlboro stand out in a market where packaging had remained unchanged for decades. 3. Consistent messaging. With campaigns like, "Come to where the flavor isn't," delivers the goods on flavor, Marlboro's messaging was clear and direct. They consistently emphasized the product's quality and the lifestyle it represented, helping to build a loyal customer base. 4. Cultural adaptation. By leveraging an image closely tied to American ideals, Marlboro created a culturally relevant brand. This strategy is still used by global brands today, where aligning with local values can drive brand loyalty. Today, Marlboro's legacy continues in how brands foster loyalty. Modern companies like Nike or Apple invest heavily in creating unique experiences that emotionally connect with customers. With digital marketing and social media, building these connections is even more accessible, allowing brands to reach customers in personal ways, reinforcing loyalty beyond the product itself. So, as you dive into your own marketing studies or careers, keep in mind that loyalty isn't just about price, it's about creating an experience that makes customers feel like they're part of something bigger. Marlboro Friday was a reminder that if you understand and tap into what really drives consumer loyalty, you can revolutionize a market. To wrap up, Marlboro Friday wasn't just a price cut, it was a powerful lesson in brand loyalty and consumer behavior. It taught marketers that perceived value and emotional connection can trump price and create a loyal customer base. So, as you move forward in your studies and careers, remember the lessons from Marlboro Friday and how an understanding of consumer psychology can make all the difference. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insights into game-changing marketing strategies. Until next time, keep learning, keep innovating, and see you in the next video.